Have you ever looked at your daylilies in August and thought the season was already over? Fading flowers, yellowing leaves, and spent blooms can make the plants look tired. So many gardeners simply leave them alone until spring. But that's a mistake. August is actually an important month for daylily care. While flowering slows down, the plants are storing energy, strengthening their roots, and preparing for next year's growth. The care you provide now can make a big difference in how beautifully they bloom next summer. In today's video, we'll count down 7 essential things your daylilies need every August, including simple tasks that strengthen the plants and prepare them for a spectacular spring display. Stay until the end, because our final tip is one of the easiest and most overlooked. 1. Remove spent flowers before they turn into a seed factory. One of the easiest things you can do for your daylilies in August is remove flowers that have already finished blooming. It may seem like a purely cosmetic task, but deadheading can make a noticeable difference in how clean and vigorous your plants look during the rest of the season. A daylily flower usually lasts only a single day, which is where the plant gets its name. One morning, you'll see a beautiful fresh bloom opening, and by evening that flower may already be fading. But the plant doesn't automatically stop working when the petals disappear. Instead, it begins developing seed pods if the spent flower has been pollinated. If you leave those old flowers attached, the plant can redirect energy toward producing and maturing seeds. Seed production isn't necessarily harmful, but if your primary goal is a strong ornamental display and healthy clumps for next year, allowing the plant to spend large amounts of energy on seeds isn't always the best choice. Deadheading is simple. Once a flower has faded, gently remove it from the scape, which is the tall, leafless flowering stem. You can pinch the spent bloom off with your fingers or use clean pruning scissors. Try to remove the developing seed pod as well if one has already formed. This keeps the plant looking much cleaner and prevents the garden from becoming covered with dry, brown flower remnants. It also encourages reblooming in varieties that are capable of producing additional flowers later in the season. However, there's an important distinction between removing spent flowers and cutting the entire plant back. Don't remove healthy green leaves simply because flowering has slowed. Those leaves are still working hard, capturing sunlight and producing energy for the roots. Think of the foliage as a solar panel. Even when you don't see many flowers, the leaves are still feeding the underground crown. The energy produced now helps the plant survive winter and supports the vigorous growth that will emerge next spring. If your daylilies are reblooming varieties, deadheading becomes even more useful. Removing old flowers and seed pods encourages the plant to continue producing fresh blooms rather than putting its remaining energy into reproduction. You'll also notice that a well-maintained daylily bed looks dramatically better. Instead of tall stems covered with brown, dried flowers, you get a cleaner mass of green foliage that continues providing texture and structure in the garden. The key is not to overdo it. Remove the flowers and seed pods, but leave healthy leaves alone. Your goal isn't to make the plant look dormant before autumn arrives. Your goal is to keep it actively photosynthesizing for as long as possible. 2. Don't cut healthy foliage too early. This is one of the most common mistakes gardeners make with daylilies in late summer. Once the flowers disappear and a few leaves begin turning yellow, many people grab their shears and cut the entire plant down to the ground. It feels like good garden maintenance. The bed looks instantly cleaner and more organized. But cutting healthy green foliage too early can actually reduce the amount of energy your daylilies store for next year. The green leaves are still photosynthesizing. They are capturing sunlight and converting it into energy that is transported to the crown and roots. Those underground structures are preparing the plant for winter dormancy and next year's growth. If you remove all of that foliage while it is still green and healthy, you are essentially turning off the plant's energy production before the season is finished. Instead, allow the leaves to remain as long as they are healthy and green. Some older leaves will naturally begin yellowing from the tips or along the edges as autumn approaches. That's normal. You don't need to panic and remove them immediately. Once the foliage has significantly declined and begins turning yellow or brown naturally, you can gradually clean it up. In many climates, this happens later in autumn rather than in August. This approach is especially important if your region experiences a long growing season. Your daylilies may still have several weeks of useful sunlight remaining, and every additional week of healthy foliage gives the plant more opportunity to store energy. There is also a practical benefit to waiting. The remaining foliage helps protect the crown from temperature fluctuations and provides some natural insulation as cooler weather arrives. If you have daylilies that look messy because of a few damaged leaves, you don't need to cut everything down. Simply remove the worst leaves individually. Cut yellow, brown, or badly damaged foliage near the base while leaving the majority of healthy green leaves intact. This gives you a cleaner appearance without sacrificing the plant's ability to prepare for winter. One of the best gardening habits you can develop is learning to distinguish between a plant that looks finished and a plant that is actually finished. A daylily may stop flowering while still being extremely active beneath the soil. The flowers may be gone, but the work isn't over. 3. Give the roots consistent moisture. During dry August, weather August can be one of the hottest and driest months of the year, and prolonged drought can place enormous stress on daylilies. Although established daylilies are known for their toughness, even hardy plants benefit from consistent moisture during extended periods of heat. The biggest mistake is relying on frequent, shallow watering. Spraying the foliage for a few minutes every evening may make the plants look refreshed temporarily, but very little water may actually reach the deeper root zone. Shallow watering encourages roots to remain near the surface, where they dry out rapidly. Instead, water deeply and thoroughly when the soil becomes dry. The goal is to moisten the root zone rather than simply wetting the top layer of soil. During extreme summer heat, check the soil several inches below the surface. If it feels dry, it's time to water. If the soil is still moist, you may be able to wait. Morning is generally the best time to water. The soil has time to absorb the moisture before the heat of the afternoon arrives, and any water that lands on foliage can dry relatively quickly. Watering at the base of the plant is preferable as repeatedly soaking the leaves. Although daylilies are generally resilient, prolonged wet foliage combined with poor airflow can encourage certain fungal problems. A layer of organic mulch can make your watering routine much easier. 2 to 3 inches of shredded bark, compost, leaf mold, or another suitable organic mulch helps slow evaporation, keeps the soil cooler, and reduces competition from weeds. Just don't pile mulch directly against the crown. Leave a small gap around the base of the plant so air can circulate and moisture doesn't remain trapped against the crown. If your daylilies are planted beneath trees, remember that they may need more water than you expect. Large trees can absorb enormous amounts of moisture from the surrounding soil, leaving your perennials competing for the same water. Container-grown daylilies can dry out even faster. Pots have limited soil volume, and hot summer temperatures can cause moisture to disappear quickly. Check containers regularly and water thoroughly whenever the growing medium begins drying out. Consistent moisture is particularly important if you want your plants to remain strong through the end of the growing season. Drought stress doesn't just affect the current appearance of the foliage. Severe stress can reduce the energy available for root development and preparation for winter. You don't need to keep the soil constantly wet. In fact, waterlogged conditions can cause their own problems. Daylilies prefer soil that drains well while retaining enough moisture to support steady growth. The goal is balance: deep watering during dry periods, good drainage, and enough organic matter to help the soil hold moisture without becoming saturated. 4. Stop feeding heavy nitrogen in late summer. If your daylilies aren't flowering as much as you expected, you may be tempted to reach for fertilizer. But August is not the time to dump large amounts of high nitrogen fertilizer around your plants. Nitrogen encourages leafy growth, and while healthy foliage is important, too much nitrogen late in the season can encourage soft, excessive growth at a time when the plant should be gradually preparing for dormancy. A common mistake is assuming that more fertilizer always equals more flowers. In reality, flowering plants need a balanced supply of nutrients, and timing matters just as much as quantity. If your soil is already fertile and your daylilies look healthy, you may not need to fertilize at all in August. A healthy plant with strong green foliage and normal growth is usually giving you a clear signal that it has adequate nutrition. If soil testing reveals a nutrient deficiency, address that deficiency rather than blindly applying fertilizer. Organic matter is often a better long-term investment than repeated heavy feeding. Compost improves soil structure, supports beneficial microorganisms, and releases nutrients gradually as it decomposes. If you do use a fertilizer, choose one appropriate for flowering perennials and follow the label instructions carefully. Avoid excessive applications, especially during hot, dry weather. Fertilizer salts can accumulate in the soil and stress roots, particularly when the plant isn't receiving enough water. Applying fertilizer to severely dry soil can also increase the risk of root damage. Late summer should be about maintaining healthy plants rather than forcing rapid growth. Remember that the goal of August care is not to make your daylilies produce a huge amount of fresh foliage overnight. The goal is to keep the existing foliage healthy long enough for the plant to store energy underground. That energy will become extremely valuable when spring arrives. 5. Divide overcrowded clumps at the right time. If your daylilies have been growing in the same location for many years, you may eventually notice that the clump has become extremely dense. Flower production may decrease, the center of the clump may look crowded, and individual plants may begin competing for water and nutrients. This is often a sign that division may be beneficial. Dividing daylilies is one of the easiest ways to rejuvenate an established planting, while giving you free plants for other parts of the garden. Instead of buying new daylilies, you can separate an established clump into several healthy divisions. Timing matters, however. In many climates, late summer can be a suitable period for division, because the intense heat is beginning to ease and the plants still have enough time to establish roots before winter. But the exact timing depends on your local climate and the condition of the plant. If August is extremely hot and dry where you live, waiting for cooler conditions may be safer. Start by watering the plant thoroughly a day before dividing. This helps reduce stress and makes the soil easier to work. Carefully dig around the entire clump, trying to lift as much of the root system as possible. Daylily roots can be surprisingly dense and fleshy, so a sturdy garden fork or sharp spade may be necessary. Once the clump is lifted, gently remove excess soil so you can see how the crowns are connected. You can then separate the plant into smaller divisions, making sure each division contains healthy roots and several fans of foliage. Don't make the divisions unnecessarily tiny. Larger divisions usually establish faster and have a better chance of flowering well the following season. Replant them at the same general depth they were growing before. Avoid burying the crown too deeply because this can interfere with healthy growth. Water thoroughly after planting and maintain consistent moisture while the divisions establish. Division is not something you need to do every year. Many daylilies can remain productive for years before they actually need dividing. If a clump is flowering beautifully and has plenty of room, there's no reason to disturb it. But when flowering declines and the plant becomes overcrowded, division can restore vigor and improve the overall appearance of the garden. 6. Watch for pests and disease. Before autumn-August is not the time to stop inspecting your daylilies. In fact, late summer can be an excellent time to catch pest and disease problems before they become more serious. Start by checking the foliage regularly. Look for unusual spots, streaks, discoloration, distorted leaves, or areas that appear to be dying prematurely. You should also inspect the undersides of leaves because many small pests hide there during the heat of the day. Aphids, thrips, spider mites, and other insects can sometimes become more noticeable during hot, dry weather. Heavy infestations can weaken the plant and reduce its ability to maintain healthy foliage. However, don't automatically reach for insecticide when you see one or two insects. Gardens naturally contain many insects, including beneficial predators that help keep pest populations under control. Ladybugs, lacewings, predatory beetles, and other beneficial organisms may already be working for you. Instead, monitor the situation. If pest numbers remain low and the plant looks healthy, intervention may not be necessary. Good garden hygiene is equally important for disease prevention. Remove badly damaged or diseased leaves rather than allowing them to remain around the base of the plant. Improve airflow by avoiding excessive overcrowding, and water at the soil level whenever possible. One disease that gardeners should be particularly aware of is daylily rust. It can produce yellow-orange or rusty-colored spots and pustules on leaves, and may spread under favorable conditions. If you suspect a serious disease, identify it accurately before treating the plant. Different problems require different approaches, and unnecessary chemical treatments can damage beneficial organisms while failing to solve the actual issue. Keeping your garden clean, providing good airflow, avoiding excessive moisture on foliage, and removing infected material can go a long way toward maintaining healthy plants. A few minutes of inspection each week can save you from dealing with a much larger problem later. 7. Prepare your daylilies. Now for next year's flowers. This is the step most gardeners overlook because it doesn't produce an immediate visual reward. You won't see more flowers tomorrow. You won't notice dramatic changes next week. But what you do in August can have a major influence on how your daylilies perform next year. The plant is preparing for the future. As summer progresses, daylilies are storing energy in their crowns and roots. Those underground reserves will support the plant during dormancy and fuel new growth when temperatures rise again in spring. That's why every healthy green leaf you preserve matters. Instead of focusing entirely on making the garden look perfect right now, focus on keeping the plants physiologically healthy. Give them water when they need it. Keep weeds from competing for resources. Remove spent flowers. Protect the foliage from unnecessary damage. Avoid excessive fertilizer. Keep the soil covered with a suitable layer of mulch. These simple actions create the conditions your daylilies need to finish the growing season strongly. If your plants have been struggling for several years, August is also a good time to think about what might need to change next season. Are they receiving enough sunlight? Are they planted in soil that drains properly? Are they overcrowded? Are nearby trees competing for water? Are you cutting the foliage back too early? Are you fertilizing at the wrong time? Sometimes the best gardening decision isn't adding something new. It's stopping a habit that has been working against the plant. Daylilies are remarkably forgiving, which is one reason they're so popular. They can survive periods of neglect, drought, cold, and difficult soil. But when you give them the right conditions, they can become spectacular. And that's the real secret behind a garden that seems to improve every year. You don't have to constantly force plants to bloom. You simply need to understand their natural rhythm and support them at the right moments. August is one of those moments. The flowers may be fading, but the season isn't finished. Your daylilies are quietly preparing for what comes next. If you keep their foliage healthy, provide adequate moisture, avoid unnecessary stress, and give the roots time to build energy, you'll be setting the stage for stronger growth and a more impressive display when spring returns. And remember that the biggest mistake isn't necessarily forgetting one watering or missing one fertilizer application. The biggest mistake is treating the end of flowering as the end of the plant's active season. For daylilies, the work continues long after the flowers disappear. So the next time you walk past your garden in August and see your daylilies looking a little tired, don't immediately cut them down and forget about them. Take a closer look. Remove the spent blooms. Check the soil, inspect the foliage. Look for pests. Give the roots the moisture they need. And most importantly, let healthy green leaves continue doing their job. Because while your daylilies may not look like they're doing much, they're already preparing the spectacular show you'll enjoy next year. And if you get these August tasks right, you may be surprised by just how much stronger, fuller, and more beautiful your daylilies become when the next growing season arrives.